Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Sri Muji Baba Ki Jai. Can someone unmute me, please? It's Mukti.
Hi, Father. Oh my God, it's been such a long time. Do you remember me, Janelyn? When I was only 15, I joined your Satsang. And now I'm 22. I'm a little bit older now. Do you remember me?
Yes, my dear. Yes. Also, Gopala is here. You may remember. Pratna. You remember?
Aparna?
Prathana. Prathana.
Who is that?
I'll show you in a bit. I'll show you. Let me see you first. So good to see you.
You too, Father. I'm so blessed to be here right now with you. I'm so excited. I kind of wanted to do an exploration of awareness and beingness, so you could guide me my mind back to like behind the thinker. Because I awareness and then is am beingness, right?
Yes, yes.
And then the thinker is like the thoughts that appear, but they're infinite from the infinite creator, the thoughts, you know? Because I feel like my thoughts are more aligned with like my godly self, you could say. Like it's not like a hassle now to think, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's where I'm at right now with like my spiritual journey and stuff.
Very cool.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about other teachers. Like Bentino Massaro, has been like a big help in my journey too, besides Muji. So he's been like a hit on the doorknob type teachings, you know, with empowerment and self-realization. It's really helped me in like in my daily life and stuff. With my relationships to my mom and my family and, you know, boyfriends or whatever that comes along or friends. So it's been a really big help. I love you, Father, so much. God bless. I love you.
Thank you. So good, so good. So where do you stay now? Where do you live?
I still live in Manhattan in New York City in like the same apartment and everything. I still live in the same place. Yeah. I would like to see you one day for sure. I would like to visit you in Bangalore, right? You live in Bangalore right now?
Yes, my dear. Yes, we do.
Okay, cool.
So good, so good, so good.
I love you, Father.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, love you too. This is a great start to Satsang.
Yeah.
So this awareness actually is the simplest. It's the simplest discovery. I loved your report, by the way. So just to point everyone in that same discovery, the discovery of awareness is the simplest discovery. In fact, it is completely effortless.
It's
Completely.
like it's nothing in a way. It's like it's invisible, you know? It's there, but it's invisible. You can't see, like touch it or feel it but it's really tangible awareness, you know? And then the amness, the beingness, the presence, the meanness is there as well, right?
Yes.
Is the being. Yeah.
Can be completely natural about it. Just be completely natural. You don't have to like hold it up, or it's not a special state. Just relaxed, very relaxed. Everything is fine. So you're aware now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yes. And this you that is aware, you're right. It's not visible. It's not perceivable. It's not perception. And yet it is apparent. Isn't it? And it's not that this you owns like a force called awareness or an entity called awareness. You see, there is no distinction between this you and awareness itself.
You are that awareness.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. You see? Now, the mistake many of us make in this simple exercise is that many times we feel like it is some dark, empty space, like full of space, you see, everywhere. You see? You see? That's not it, because if it was dark, then that would be a quality and it would be perceived. You see? So that which is aware or perceiving, even that which is aware of the perception, even of that. Good.
Should I mute myself again?
Yes, yes, you can. But I'm very happy to see you after 7 years. Huh?
After 7 years, right? Yeah, me too, Father. I love you so much forever and ever, eternity.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father.
Thank you, my child. Okay, let's go to Bodhi.
Hello, thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes, yes, my dear.
Thank you very much, Guruji. I just wanted to express this this love I'm drawing into. Again, I forgot for a while, and I don't need to know or have or do anything else. I just want to completely, get lost. So there is nothing else, just this love. So I just wanted to tell you that you are this love.
No, thank you.
And I've been searching for you and basically the saints in heart, in this visible world for all this life, and meeting them as well, which was the blessing, and that feels wonderful to be with them. You know, if there could be any wish, I would like to meet Papaji. Papaji, like he wanted to meet, and he was meeting all those gods, and he is in my heart. I can't see him, so I'm grateful for that. I don't know. Yeah. If that's the destiny, if it's written, then of course I would like to meet you at least once in physical form, because in heart we've known each other beyond time. Now I know you are the essence of that. And I would like to, there was a very hard time for a month. It came all of a sudden, and I'm mentioning it because it hit directly my son, my grandson, and luckily the grace is just wonderful. His life was saved, but it felt really, it ignited this primal fear, within, and the mind and all of that just rose so strongly. I don't know if it has ever been like that. And but against Guru's grace, nothing can succeed. So there was it wasn't like in the previous time before before that. Basically it looked like I was swimming in these forces, It wasn't like that, and it will never be like that, ever. Because self-inquiry started working, and even if it was so strong, it just like it was leading, you know, and together with self-inquiry, actually you just put words in hard, and it was like Guru Kripa Kevalam, you know, nothing can succeed, nothing. Even if you take everything I love, this love cannot be broken. So I just want to put it to your feet again, even if it's all there anyway. And just, you know, I don't really like to use this Advaita language.
Yes, yes.
Because that's not like natural to me. The heart wants to speak like by silence, but words need to be used sometimes. And there is that arising or being present or in the midst of this biggest challenges, and it's physically really hard.
Yes.
You know, and it can do whatever. Like no matter what happens, everything is Guru's grace. Thank you for that words, you know, for the mantra.
Yes.
And I would like to say one more thing. Okay, there is one, I don't know if it's a member of Sangha, or there is one being in Kerala, and he was explaining me some, with him it was easy, it just started flowing, talking to me about scriptures. And I had, it was like I was living Krishna and Arjuna. I don't know why Arjuna is so close to me. And it was like, I haven't read that. I just feel that I've lived that, you know.
Very good.
So, and it's bringing me closer to, even it's distant less, to Papaji again, because he was a lover of, sorry, I can't speak about him, lover of Krishna. And I've seen Krishna myself when before everything went wrong. So so thank you, Father. I call you Father. I can call you me. Thank you very much and Grace knows what needs to be done. So thank you for having the opportunity.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. So just hearing what both of them said in the beginning, some words are coming here. So let's start with just utter simplicity. Utter simplicity is utter originality. Don't add anything to this moment. See? Don't even call it a moment. Just nothing at all. Just open, just empty. Now, as you are utterly simple, a thought is complex. So let all the complexity come and go. You don't have to resolve anything. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to conclude anything. You don't need to determine the nature of anything. You don't have to say that I am like this and the world is like this. None of that. All of that is complication. So remain utterly simple. Fully simple. Now, in this, are they just perceptions? I want to tell you that that which is beyond perception is fully apparent to you. And nobody is confused about this except in the head. So the job is not to convince your head. Don't rush. Take it really slow. It's all fine. Nothing has to be grasped at. You cannot miss this. Allow yourself to be in the no mind, which only means allow the mind to come and go. The unborn, the no mind, the open and empty, notionless existence, all is different words for the same thing. Utter openness, utter simplicity. Naturally, this voice is being heard by you, but it is fully apparent to you without having to think that you are not just all that you are perceiving. I don't even need to ask you. It is apparent to you already whether you like it or not. Nobody is confused. Nobody is feeling that they are just these perceptions. It is apparent to you that you are aware of the perception of this voice without any work. If you are trying, you've gone too far. Okay, so anybody who's trying, stop it. Stop trying, settle down, just relax, chill out. Okay. If there's effort involved, you're using the wrong instruments. If there's effort involved, you're using the wrong instruments. And if the mind is jumping around saying various things, don't worry about that. Don't make any effort to stop it also. Just allow everything to come and everything to go. Now raise your physical hand if you feel like there are only perceptions and you are included in the perceptions that you are perceiving. Anybody experiencing that? That it is only perceptions? So one or two hands I see. So I just want to clarify the question. So everything that you perceive, is in front of your attention. But you, that is aware of these perceptions, is not in front of the attention. It is not a perception that is being perceived. This is the question. So is this you that is aware of these perceptions also a perception? How many feel that it is? The you that is aware of perceptions is also a perception. Okay, one hand goes up. Let's go to Bodhi again. Let's look at this closely, my dear. So that which is aware of the perception of this hand, what is the color of that? For it to be a perception, it must have some shape, some size, some color, some location, some duration. All of these things must belong to anything that is objective, isn't it? So I am asking whether that which is aware of the perception of this hand, whether that can be perceived by itself.
Yeah, it can.
So if it is perceivable, then it must have some color. What is the color? Everything perceivable has a color, isn't it?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
If it is perceivable, then does it have a color, a shape, a size, something, some quality, some attribute, some guna? All that is perceivable is saguna, and that which is imperceivable is nirguna. So that which is perceivable must have quality. Guna is only a quality. So what is the one quality we can mention about that one which is aware?
It's like two steps. One is that witness,
Mhm.
and beyond that, it's what I am.
And whether that you that is aware of the perception of this hand, what quality can you say about it?
The mind wants to give the answer,
Yeah.
but there is no answer because it just doesn't have any quality. It's like it's the feeling, this consciousness. I am in this body and I'm moving in this world of everything, and but I know I'm not the that.
That which is aware of the feeling is you, isn't it?
Yes, but not personally.
Not personally. Perfect. So that you which is aware of even the feeling of the sense of being, the feeling of presence, you see, of the sense of presence, that you which is aware of that, you see, does it have any quality, shape, size?
That
Okay.
one doesn't.
That one doesn't. And is there another one of you?
That's the embodied one. I don't know how to say that. It's the
Does the embodied
this
one have any real existence? You see, have any tangible existence, even perceivable existence? You see, who is that? And if it does have an embodied existence, quote unquote, then it would have a quality, a shape, a size. So which is that embodied one?
is only mind.
Is it?
That's the only mind. Yeah.
So that which the mind proposes that we are, you see, that which the mind proposes that we are, we cannot find that one. It doesn't exist. It is just a figment of our mind. Everyone's with me on this? So let's come back again to the perception of this hand. You are aware of it, isn't it? Without any Advaita gymnastics, spiritual gymnastics of any sort. You are aware of the perception of this voice, of this hand, isn't it? But this you itself, you do not perceive. You cannot perceive. And yet, it is quote unquote known to everyone. Yourself is known to you, but not as conceptual knowledge, not as an idea. You see? It's a knowledge of a different sort. It's a very, very uncommon knowledge as far as the terminology of the world is concerned. See? As far as the terminology of the world is concerned, to know something, you have to either perceive it or to have a concept of it. Here, you don't need to have a concept of it or to perceive it. That is why it is an uncommon knowledge. And that is called intuitive insight. You see? This is the only self-recognition, self-realization that anybody will ever have. It has always been there, but we have not recognized it. We have not valued it in some way. You see, consciousness in its play and identification as a human entity, you see, in the human conditioning, has neglected this original fact, you see, which is probably the only fact. So this is the only self-realization, no matter which path that you're coming from, no matter which teacher you're coming from, whether you've done Hatha Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raj Yoga, whatever type of yoga. Any form of spirituality. The recognition of the self is only this, because there is only one non-perceptual recognition. Non-perceptual and non-conceptual recognition. Only the self you can recognize this way, no? Have you ever recognized anything else but the self in this way? Without using a concept and without using a perception? Okay. So only the self is recognizable this way, and it is recognizable for all, no matter what the preparatory steps it seems like you needed to get to this point. You see? So this is self-recognition, this is Atma-Gyan, this is self-realization. This is it. It is as simple as that. Every other thing that the mind wants, even the mind's idea of freedom or enlightenment, is for the person. You see? It's a desire in the garb of spirituality. So this is recognition, pure and simple, and it is available to anyone. Anyone who can allow themselves to be open for an instant and not take themselves to be a construct of mental belief. This is possible and available for everyone. This is recognition. You recognize that it is you, and yet you do not see or have to think of this you. You recognize that it is you, and yet you don't have to see or think of this you, isn't it? You are aware of the hearing of this voice, but you are not hearing. You are not sight. You are not taste, touch, smell. Okay, I'll just meet you, my dear. We'll come back. So, this is the simplicity of self-discovery. Not one step you have to take. If you're taking steps, you've gone too far. Retreat. Retreat. That is the only retreat you need. Retreat from all effort, retreat from all steps, retreat from all processes, retreat from all progress. Forget about all of that. This simplicity you already have. Now, many of you will struggle because you will say, but I am not convinced. But you are convinced. It is your mind which is not convinced. You are convinced because you are saying that it is I which is aware. You see? Your mind wants to see it in a shape and a size. If it saw it in a shape and a size, then it would become another perception. And what happens to all perceptions? They come and go. So therefore, in the Vedantic experiment, you see, therefore, that cannot be real. Shraddha, you're not driving while sleeping, isn't it? So parked, okay, good. So, so this satisfaction, you see, which the mind is pleading for, you don't have to give to the mind. The mind will say, what did you see? You see? So, are you lying when you say you are aware? You are not lying. You are aware, isn't it? Not some uncle. It's you. Isn't it? So this you, how do you know about it? Do you know about it in your head? And you don't know about it through your senses either. This is self-knowledge. Everyone has it. That is why the sages have told us often that the diamond is already in your pocket. The treasure is already with you. Anyone has a confusion about this simple self-recognition? We'll come to the buts later. The buts usually start with, this is clear in Satsang, but when I go out, then it goes away. All those things we'll come to later. But is this clear right now, for right now? And don't worry, if I'm speaking authoritatively, doesn't mean that I'm going to be angry or something if it's not clear. I'm happy to listen to a report about this. But about this, anyone? Unclear? Okay, let's go to Salaros. Unclear. Unclear?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so before I give your mind the chance to construct a story, right now, who's hearing this voice? Or who's aware of the hearing? It is you. Do you see
Me.
that you?
Do I see that me?
Yeah.
No.
You don't see it, no? And
No.
yet you are certain it is you?
Yes. Yes.
It's you, no? So on
Yes.
what basis are you claiming that me?
It, it has to be me. I don't know.
Is it just a conceptual inference that it has to be me? That's why. Is it
I
just
think
something that
a
you are
little,
inferring? You
a
see?
little bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if I was to tell you, and you trust me, no? So if I was to tell you, no, no, it's not you. It is actually Devi, who I see next to you in Zoom. So it's not you, it's Devi. What would you say?
I would say it has to be me.
It has to be you.
It
You
has
see,
to
it
be
is
me.
clear to you that it is you.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would not even know what I have said. You
Yes.
are aware of the hearing of these words, and you are aware of the perception of sight in front of you, either on the phone or computer, whatever it is. You see, you are aware of that. That you that is aware, can that itself be perceived? Are you
No.
perceiving that? You
No.
are not perceiving
No.
it. You see,
No.
so in the world it is said, seeing is believing. You see, so you're not seeing this you, so you must be lying about it, no? You lying?
No.
You see, so you are relying on your intuition, but your mind doesn't like it.
Hmm.
To come to this recognition, you are relying on your intuition because it is not seen through sight. It is not seen as an object. You are not seeing yourself objectively. You see, you are only recognizing yourself in an uncommon mechanism which is called intuitive insight. Everybody is doing that already. You see, but we have become used to catering to the mind, which says, but, how can I be sure? You cannot. The mind cannot, because mind is designed to process stimulus. You see, to give name, to label, to interpret, to storify that which is in the realm of concepts and of perception. You are much beyond those things. So already your intuition is working perfectly. Nobody's intuition is failing. Nobody's intuition needs servicing. You see? Everybody's intuition working perfectly. It is fully apparent to you that you are aware of the perception of this voice, of this hand, of the temperature, of all these perceptions that we call the senses. You are aware, but this awareness itself is which sense? Is it sight?
Mm.
It's not sight. Is it hearing? Does it hear the hearing? Take your time. This can sound tricky. Is awareness a process of hearing the hearing? Is it a process of tasting the tasting? Are there different modes of operation for this awareness? Or is it just, okay, I'm going to give the answer. Is it just a primal intelligence, you see, which is just aware, which we cannot really define what that aware is? You see, so many of you fall into the trap of taking sight to be awareness. You see, because we use terms like witnessing, many times we feel like we are seeing. We may even use that term seeing, but it is not sight. You are aware of sight. You are aware of hearing, but you're not seeing sight. You're not hearing hearing. And you're not seeing hearing or hearing sight. You see, you're not applying any of this. You're just awareing. Just aware. And that awareing is undefinable. You see, what it's not a process of using some objective senses, objective discovery to find yourself. It is just simple. So you are aware of your existence. You are aware that you exist, isn't it? That you are. Are you aware or not? You are aware that you are. Are you sure it's you?
Yes. Yes.
How can you be so sure? How can you be so sure that you are aware that you exist?
I don't know how I'm sure, but I'm just sure.
Exactly.
I'm just sure. I'm
Exactly.
just sure. I'm just sure of it.
Very good. Very good. So to
Yes.
rely on this sureness, which is not a mental surety, isn't it? It's not that I'm convinced. I read a book. I read a book that it is me. And therefore I'm saying it must be me. It's not mental clarity, isn't it? It's not a mental flight. You're saying, what is the absurd question he's asking? It has to be me. That's what I was asking in the beginning. Is it just an inference which is coming from the mind? Or is it apparent to you that you're hearing, you are aware of this hearing? You are. No? It's apparent to you, but you don't know how. So this don't know sounds very unglamorous. You see, so that is why we call it a glamorous name called intuition. It doesn't need to be called intuition. You see, but because, oh, I just do, you see, or I don't know how I do, doesn't sound exciting enough for the mind. So for the mind to feed the mind as to how do you know, say intuitively. You see? This intuition is the most primal, it's the most original, it's the most natural knowledge. Nobody can lose it even if they try. Now lose it. See, you try. When I give you a challenge like that, nobody can lose it even if they try. Try. Try and see. Don't be aware. Don't be aware. Can you do it? Okay, very good. You can't do it, no? So now try to be something other than this. Try to be what they call the person. Try to be the ego. Try. Let's see you succeed at that. What are the steps that are needed? You see, first, what is needed? First, what is needed? First, you have to be. Okay? First, you have to be. When you're in deep sleep, the being is also resting within you. Forget it. There's no chance you can identify, isn't it? So, first, being has to be here. Yes? So, once being is there, are you identified? All of you are being right now. Right now. Right now, you're being. Except those who've fallen asleep, which is fine. So those who are awake, you're being right now. You see? Now, how to take yourself to be a person? Can you do it without a thought? First, try to just be personal without a thought. Look at all the sensations. If there are contractions, look at them as hard as you want with all your attention focused on the contraction. See if you become the person. Unless the mind comes and says, this contraction is here, therefore you must be something, you must be a person or some idea like that. Without that, just try to do it with perception itself. If you feel like you're too body identified, stare at the body. Just look at it. See if you can become the body just by looking at it. You see? Give all your attention to that which you think you are identified with. Stare at it and see if you become the body and you are no longer awareness. Tell me if you succeed.
Not without a thought. Not without a thought. No.
Not without a thought. You can't do it. That is massive discovery.
No.
Can you do it energetically? Because that's a favorite excuse. See? Because you know that Ananta is going to say it's just a thought. It's not just a thought. My problem is more serious. I have an energetic problem. So if an energy comes, you see, energy comes, it's shaking everything, everything, maybe the whole world, like a tsunami or an earthquake is shaking. You see, now identify without a thought. Everything is shaking. Your whole body is shaking. You see, perceive it, but identify without using a thought, without even the label energetically. Shake. full contraction, everything, the worst case scenario from the mind. You see? Try to identify energetically. Can you do it? You see? But this energy comes. The energy comes and it's just so heavy in my heart and all of that. You see? So imagine all that is happening. Now identify just with your attention, just in perception of whatever you are perceiving. Remain in the what I call pure perception and see if identification is possible, or are you still this awareness alone? I know you know conceptually also the right answer, but just check, humor me. Who is identified just with perception? You see? So it cannot happen. Of course, what can happen is that these energies, you see, the mind uses as evidence to say, see this, therefore you must be still personal. It uses as evidence, you see, for the non-existent crime to convince you that the crime has happened. You see? But it is really not. Okay, so suppose now all of you have checked that with attention, in my being, just with attention, I cannot identify or suffer, take myself to be a person in any way. Suppose we have all come to this point together. Yes? Now what do you have to do to identify? What do you have to do? So it's not possible just with attention. What is the other primal force that consciousness has given itself besides attention? Belief. Belief. So let's play with belief and see what happens. What can you believe? What can you believe? Can you believe perception? Can you believe perception? Believe this. Yeah? Yeah? Believe this. Can you believe it? You see? But what can you believe? If this was the perception, and if I was to go around the room and say, what is Ananta doing? You'd say, he's telling us to stop. No? One may say that. One may say, he's blessing us. You see? All my blessing, my child, like that. He's blessing us. You see? Another may say, wait. Or some whatever interpretation you may have. You see? He's posing for the camera. What you can have your own belief about it. But what is the perception actually? What is the perception actually? This is important, okay? So don't lose me at this point. So what is the actuality of what you're perceiving? What is the actuality of this perception? We cannot say. We cannot say. You see? So this moment and every moment, you cannot interpret its reality. That this is what's happening, and especially this is what's happening to me, because both what you're concluding to be happening and the me are fake. Okay? So what you conclude about what is happening is just like this. What is happening? This, what is happening? You see? If you were able to conceptually conclude what this was, then all of you would have the same. If the truth was able to be found like this through conceptual interpretation, then all of you would find one truth, isn't it? What is happening? One will say satsang is happening, one will say great boredom is happening, one will say laughter is coming, one will say boredom is coming, you see, various, sleep is coming. You see? So what is the truth? It is indeterminable conceptually. You see? When we take this mental interpretation to be true, that is when we identify what is the power that we have to take it to be true. Belief, isn't it? So when consciousness uses its power of belief, that means to take a concept and say that this is what really is. You see, that is the power of belief. To be able to make a narrative about something which is non-narratable is the power of belief. You see, and it does nothing for you except to give you the ability to storyfy your life. And that story brings nothing to you. In fact, takes you away from the joy of pure perception. You see? So most of humanity is living in a conceptual storybook of their life instead of actually living life. You see? And how are they doing that? As you may be doing that by attempting to understand. You see? So if understanding is happening at the mind intellect level, let it happen. I'm not, when I say don't understand, I don't mean you should actively try to not understand. I am only saying that don't value that understanding, because where I'm meeting you and what I'm pointing you to, you cannot conceptually understand. At best, you can understand that you cannot understand. You see, but what I'm pointing you to is much greater than that. You see, what is your life when you're not trying to conceptualize, which means not trying to understand, interpret, judge, figure out what to do, all of this process of conceptualization? What is your life without it? Where will you go for the answer? If you still go to the mind saying, what is my life without it? Oh, then it's still going to the wrong instrument.
It feels
And to understand that which is the question about non-understanding.
yes, it feels very pure when I don't try to understand. Very pure, very natural.
Very
natural.
And those moments are what we call amazing, mind-blowing. You see a beautiful river. You see the Ganga is flowing in front of you, beautiful. And where is your mind? It may be trying something, but it doesn't really work because you're not interested. You see? You're just, it doesn't matter like what the, okay, so this is the key, that it really doesn't matter what your perception is in front of you. You see? There are just some perceptions which the mind is not used to, so it can for a moment run out of moves, and then we enjoy that. You see, but those who live next to the Ganga, for example, just walk around normally. So we have all seen this, isn't it? That when we visit Rishikesh or something, we are going there and we are like, wow, beautiful, beautiful. And though the locals, they're just laughing, what's happening with these people, you know? Because for them, it's just become regular. No? So the mind has built up enough defenses against the beauty of what is perceivable. In the same way, everyone's life is extremely originally, naturally, organically beautiful, but we have built enough conceptual defenses to make our story full of suffering and challenges, using the nonsensical variables of relationships, money, body, and freedom. But right now, what is your life? Right now, what is the relationship mean to you? Without having to think. You see? A bouncing blob of perceptions, you see? Can it have a relationship with awareness? No. First, you must take yourself to be a blob of perception. And then feel like, oh, that is not enough. Therefore, I want to be bigger using another blob of perceptions. See? And then everybody wants to rule the world, no? As the song goes. So everybody wants to want this blob of perception to have more and more that it can call mine. See? More and more that it can call mine. So that it feels like the heart longing to be all there is can be satisfied by this labeling mine. But it cannot be. It can only come through true insight. Is it? So okay, let's make it simple again. So basically, don't buy into any idea what the mind is telling you, because inherent in those ideas is a notion of the wrong me, of a made-up me, You see? And it's talking nonsense about the world because the world is too broad for it to grasp. We cannot even decipher one moment. What is this? Cannot even decipher one moment. And we have a story about 30, 40, 50 years of our life. You see? And everybody that knows you has a different story about your life. You see? So which story is true? It's not possible like that. You see? So don't miss out on living because you are storyfying. You see? This is a wonderful movie. Don't miss it for the subtitles. You see? Imagine if I was watching a Turkish movie. And then I'm just reading the subtitles. I don't know what else is happening, but I've just read the subtitles. So I've just read it like a book. Then Salar comes and asks me, or Jada comes and asks me, so did you see that movie, Father? What did you like about it? Oh, it was a nice story. Oh, but did you like this one's acting? I didn't see because I was too busy reading the subtitle. Did you see the beautiful forest the director had shot? No, I didn't see because I was just reading the subtitle. You see? Would you call that watching a movie? See? No, but in the same way, that is what we are doing with our life. You see? First, we are taking ourselves to be what the mind is telling us. Then we are taking life to be what the mind is telling us. So it's time we stop it. Just stop it. And don't make these categories of spiritual, satsang, real versus practical versus, you see, day to day versus all is nonsense mental categories. Just leave it. Yeah? Just leave. The intelligence that is running this universe can run your life and is already running your life. The subtitles do not change the movie. But the subtitles are also not the true narrator of what is happening in the movie. So now this conceptual emptiness or conceptual openness is what I call open and empty, what the sages have called no mind or the unborn. You see? Now remain like that. You see? When you remain like that, it is already apparent to you that you are not just a perception. We already started with that exercise. So self-recognition is apparent. As you are open and empty, is there anyone who feels like the recognition goes away? I have to hold on to it. Otherwise, it just goes away. You see, that is when we get the absurdity. Sometimes in Satsang, you will see this absurdity of people who are just like, you see, as if they're trying to hold on to awareness as if it's some state or something like that. If it's happening naturally, it's happening naturally. I'm not necessarily making fun of it. I'm just saying that don't have to try and hold on to awareness like I'm just like being in the awareness right now. Just leave me alone. You don't have to put yourself in any sort of state like that. It's apparent. You see? Can you forget that you are aware of the perception of this hearing? Can you forget? Do you have to remember? No, it's just apparent. You see? So when you're not buying the nonsense from the head, the truth is already apparent. You see? It's already apparent. So remain open and empty, come what may. Because the truth is apparent to you and you cannot suffer in this way. You will not misidentify in this way and you'll actually live your life. You'll enjoy life. You see? Not chasing joy, but just the natural enjoyment of just tasting it so raw and organically instead of through the lens of the storybook. See? So that's it. Then what happens? There'll be times, you see, and this happens to everyone, whether you call them a sage, whether you call them God, whether you call them whatever you may want to call them. You see, in everyone in the human condition, then consciousness loves to taste a moment or two of identification, you see, just to see the contrasting juice of just pretending to be contracted and then like that, you see. So when those moments come, when you get identified, you see, don't beat yourself up about it and say, oh, I forgot to be open and empty and I'm not doing well enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not listening to Ananta enough, I'm a failure in spirituality, all that nonsense. Just let it come and go. When When it occurs to you that you're grasping, just let go. You see? Just let go. Return to open mind. You see? Okay. So that's tip number one. Then tip number two is that sometimes you will have situations where you will feel like I need some help. I need guidance. You see, I don't know what to do. I need help. You see? So when I need help and I need to figure out what to do, I have to go to my mind. It is not true. Go to the same intuition. Go to the same intuition. So what is the check whether I'm being intuitive or not? What is the true test? Over the years, I've shared many ways to check. If you're, you see, in a rush, then you're not going to intuition. If you're rushing to answers, then you're not going to intuition. If there's a sense of neediness or grasping, then that is not intuitive. You see, if there is a too much me versus them in the concepts, then of course we're being mindy. But what is the simplest maybe test is that stay where it is apparent to you what your reality is. From there, all guidance, if needed, will come. Okay, so we are cracking all life and spirituality today. Okay, so stay with that where you know what your reality is. You see, if that seems difficult, you can use a question like, "Am I aware now? Am I aware now?" You see, and be patient. Take your time. More patient than dominoes. So give it time. Don't rush. Trust the silence. There are times where it seems like no perceivable guidance is appearing from the heart. Then silence is the guidance. Trust that. Don't have a notion of silence or guidance. Just allow. Many times you will go to your heart. Please help me, Father. Guruji, please help me. Because I don't know what to do. And you will find that you don't have a conceptual answer, but your hands start moving, typing out something, or you see your mouth starts moving, or your feet start moving. So that is the answer. Trust that movement. You see? So don't preempt in what way the guidance has to come. You see? And this going to guidance is for those rare times that I said you cannot be open and empty and you feel like I definitely need an answer. You see? I'm so lost and confused. Of course, you're identifying and I could say, no, just drop it and don't identify. But there are moments in all of our lives where it can feel like, you see, this thing is so strong, I definitely need some guidance. So for those rare 0.005% of the time, you can rely on your intuitive guidance. You see? That's it. So open and empty. What you are is apparent to you. Life is being fully tasted and enjoyed. In the moments of identification, drop it. If you can't drop it, then go to your heart for guidance. That is the Sadguru presence. That is the Guru presence in your very being. It is your very being. Now, this is the life of freedom. Don't allow me to use these terms. You don't label your life like that. You see, this is the life of the unborn. Who wants to recap? Anyone? Raise your physical hand in the room or in the Zoom. First hand I see. Who want to recap? Recap. Recap. No recap. If I can't see your hand, put it in the chat that you're raising your hand. Recap. You recapped very well the other day. But as if, just going fresh from what you assimilated. Okay, 1 second. Is he on the screen? Just make it full screen for you. Yeah. Okay. And don't worry. There's no judgments. If there are judgments, it's there Satsang. Don't worry. You go.
Don't really need a thought to know who we are. We're the ones perceiving the thought. All forms of perception, we are aware. That awareness is our true self.
How is it known?
I am the knowing itself. This I cannot put into a concept. I can't describe it. All perceptions, whatever comes, goes. So obviously it's not me. Whatever I can see and perceive, it's not me. All the feelings, emotions, thoughts, concepts of what is supposedly happening to me, all of them come and they go. Which means they are not describing me. They're describing an idea. I have to believe them to be true. To apply belief, I have to believe that they are true. For it to be taken to be truth, whoever I am or what is happening. So there is no real objective truth here, because there is all of it is thought. You have to believe it for it to be taken to be truth. The self that I am sees all of this coming and going. I don't have to take them to be true for me to know why. Staying open, staying empty of identification, staying empty of that, not grasping, just letting it come and go. What I am or who I am is naturally apparent. It doesn't require searching, doesn't require some post confirmation. Yes, this is who I am. It's not a concept that has to be proven or taken to be true. I'm already here, not in a location, but it is already here. Any search is an activity away from this.
How do I live?
And a plan sort of needs to be, when we're grasping for a plan or a strategy or something that I must do something for something to happen. There's strong belief or attachment to that. Know that this is coming from mind, suggesting identity that I've believed in. The antidote to this is to go to the heart, which is coming back to the self, which is disidentifying with that thought. And that need to grasp for an answer is still going. Remain in the heart. The movement that may be necessary for whatever has to happen, in terms of speech or body movement or whatever, any action that this body has to take for its life, spontaneously arise. It doesn't have to be judged. It doesn't have to be evaluated for it to be true or right or wrong. These are all thoughts. The answer may even come as silence, which means no action, bodily action or bodily thoughts or speech. So there isn't a right action. Just stay in the sun. Which is not really, you can't stay. Just don't identify, stay open, stay empty. No grasp.
What about the real world? How do I deal with that? This is okay for satsang. But when I go outside satsang,
Supposedly real world
Yeah.
is a belief. Everybody has their own real worlds. So when there's that kind of a thought where this may work in a certain set of an environment, everybody's quiet, trying to avoid supposedly negative action or thought. It'll only work here, this space, now. When I go into a world, all of that environment is not there. Self isn't dependent on an environment. All environments come and go. Peaceful, noisy, they come and go. The self is always here. I'm always here. Doubts will come. You don't have to believe that doubts will never come. That's staying open. So let them come. Let them show you what areas you may be identified with. Let them know. Stay empty. Free.
who else? Follow? You have to speak up then, like you're lecturing in a college. Hmm. Please see in the chat if they're saying it's audible. See in the chat. Say something. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3.
The set was very apparent.
It won't be audible.
It's audible, she says.
It's always a blessing to sit at the Master's feet and be with the Sangha. The self is so apparent. Mostly it is an effortless place. It is so relaxing. You can call it awareness. There are very many terms, like in the Hindu scriptures would call it aparoksha anubhuti. It's a totally natural state of being. And everything can come. Because the world is an appearance. So we don't latch on to anything, and you're open and empty, then you're safe. Anantaji has repeatedly been telling us, you're just naturally the self. And being at his feet, sometimes intense gratitude can happen. Everything can happen. Like today, I felt it was very special because Isha came with a beautiful song. And I was crying. Very blessed to be here. Thank you.
Who wants to go online? Put up your bodily hand. I'm going to. Good. Okay, let's go to Muni.
Hello, Guruji. Did you mean again to recap?
Yes.
Yeah. I will try. Thank you for this. Um, um, yeah, it is obvious that I am perceiving everything. I'm the one who is perceiving everything, and yes. I don't seem to have a shape. I don't see this me when like this. And also it's very like, it's like I can share, like there is no, like it doesn't, well, I see after satsang, but maybe it doesn't matter what kind of perception of thoughts are happening. For example, during satsang, there are usually not like thoughts coming like advice from the minds, like I can say like don't take shape and like this, but like after like video satsang, they can come, but so there is like a change of style of perception, maybe a little bit. That during satsang, these thoughts don't come at all, almost, and if they come, it's okay. But yeah, after like satsang, it starts coming like this advice from the mind a little bit, like in style of advice, basically advices. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. I think this is the first part is the most important part. This is the most important part. Yes. Mm. Mm. I actually, it is obvious that it's impossible to identify without a thought, and but right now I don't feel to use. I don't feel to say that. I feel like it was so beautiful to follow and every time, but the first part, like every time, like the obviousness that it's me who's aware, it's like the most important. And yeah.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So very beautiful, very good. So this is a very important point he's making, saying that which so many millions are chasing, the self, can it really be that obvious and simple? Maybe just what Ananta is sharing is just flawed or fraud. How can it be this simple? Can it be? Suppose I'm the mind's voice. Just like, but if this was it, then everybody could find the self. What is everyone struggling with? Is it? And not just that, I'm saying that this is the only self-realization. Everything else is a worldly pursuit in one way or the other, even a spiritually worldly pursuit. But self-realization, that which is beyond the world, beyond the manifest, beyond shape and size and color, beyond all the gunas, is only this. Because there cannot be two of that. It's for two, you need quality and distinction between qualities. One empty of quality is the only discovery you can make about yourself. You see? So it doesn't matter what spiritual constructs you have, what spiritual movements you've been part of, what spiritual sadhanas you've done, and for how long. But the truth is always going to be found like this. Now, I'm not putting those down. Those things are relevant. Maybe they come to a point, they're useful to a point that they make us open. You see? Open to that recognition, to go beyond our belief system into that which is so immediate and aparoksha, as Gopala was saying, without any mental working, just intuitive. So they may have their place as far as all that is concerned, but the self will only be recognized in this way, which is without quality, without anything, any time, any space. And it is this apparent, this available, this obvious. So, as I've often said, this part actually is just straightforward. If it is self-recognition that you want, it's available immediately. Usually what happens is that it is the constructs of our personal desire which then show up as in forms of resistance to the simplicity of open and empty. You see? To manage those seems to take some time, seems to. So that is why I say that 1% of satsang is pointing to recognition, which is unavoidable and apparent, and 99% is resistance management. But, and you'll notice that the but comes from the mind, which puts us first in a personal construct. Puts us first in the personal construct and then says, but when I go from here, or when something happens, when this, you see, so we take ourselves in that shape again. And then we start the doubt. What is the shapeless doubt? I have not met one. You don't take a shape, what I'm pointing to is obvious. If you don't project it in time and say, okay, later what will happen, or yesterday this happened, all that time and all of that stuff, what is being pointed to is fully apparent. You see? But one misunderstanding, which is a classical misunderstanding, especially in India, maybe for thousands of years, is that because we call this Maya, you see, therefore it must be then, we must be in opposition to it, or it must be, shied away from, or something like that. But that is not the case. When we are open and empty, all this is very naturally being perceived, and it is for consciousness to fully enjoy. It's a playground of enjoyment for consciousness itself if we have to put it into some construct. You see, that's why Leela and Chitvilasa and all of that stuff is that construct of the play of consciousness. But consciousness does not need that construct. It is our mind that needs to be convinced, why is this happening? Because consciousness wanted to play. Nonsense, but at least it shuts the mind up. So that's as far as that is concerned. But in actuality, what is your experience without the need to conceptualize? Don't conceptualize the answer, just taste it. What is your experience without the need to conceptualize anything? Which means not to understand or judge anything. It's just open. It's just, I don't even want to call it perfect or beautiful or whatever. Now, all of your troubles belong to a storybook version of you. They don't belong to anything which we can call real. So don't spend your life solving non-existent problems of the non-existent one. That doesn't mean that in the play that is appearing, these roller coasters won't appear. It's fine, let them appear. But don't take them to be mine, because that mine is not true. The me is not true. So that's how everything becomes super simple, and don't have an aversion towards simplicity. in the world, we learn to value that which is most complex and difficult to understand. But spirituality does not fall into that category. All that I'm pointing to is very simple. You see, but because of the nature of the mind, for many, especially those who are new, may find it like a little bit too abstract or too difficult. I've heard that report often. But actually, it's just a little bit of defrosting, and you'll see it's so simple. So self-discovery is apparent. How to live is apparent. What else is left? The ones with the Zoom hands up, let's see. Let's go to Georgina first. Giorgio! We don't hear you, my dear. No audio.
Hello now?
Oh, my dear, yes.
Hey. I've forgotten about that name.
Ah, yes? So soon?
Quickly, I forget. It's beautiful to see you again, Father.
Thank you.
What was the question you asked?
I don't know. Did I ask a question? No, I was saying, okay, so.
What's left? No?
Yeah,
It's just love, no? You make it so easy, Father.
yes. This is the joy of mine to make it palatable, digestible. You hear so many spiritual gymnastics happened for so many years before I came to my master's field. I feel like, so I've been through all the confusions and struggles and nonsensical, belief systems. So just, I feel very happy if I can make it very direct and straightforward. Of course, in the play of the human condition, some conditioning, the checker guy, all of these things will play up in opposition to what is being heard. But I find it very beautiful just to give it to you straight.
Yeah. Yes. I miss you a little bit.
Oh, same. I miss you more than a little bit.
Okay, then I miss you a lot. And the Sangha too. All my love to everyone.
Thank you. Everyone sending their love.
It's beautiful sharings by everyone. By Keish. I was singing along with Keish.
Oh, good.
Yeah, beautiful sharing by Niting and Gopal. It's so beautiful. I can see a bit of a head there. Hello, love.
Hi, Georgie. Thanks
Hello,
for
my
singing
love.
with me.
I was there.
I was thinking about you. I was like, Georgie would be proud.
Yes, I was first row fan club.
Usually my voice is broken and my hands work, but this time my hands were broken and my voice worked. So whatever, it's fine. But I
And I saw you got the uke. You got the ukulele?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I bought it just for that song.
Beautiful.
So it's gonna be perfected.
It's already perfect. Is that the first time you hear it, Father?
No.
No. Oh.
No, there's a recording of it.
Oh. Oh.
Housemates for how long?
4 months.
4 months.
What did you ask, Father? I'm sorry.
The housemates for how long, I was asking in Bangalore.
Oh,
Sangha wives, we say.
yeah.
No,
Sangha wives, everything. And you're okay, Father, now? Your body is okay?
yeah, I feel good. It's very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Father.
All my love to you, everyone there. All my pranams to Guruji. See there? Let's see if Atmajyoti is there. See a bit of a head. Yes. Okay.
I'm just leaning. That's my maybe.
Ah, you want to recap or you want to ask a question?
Maybe not a recap.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at those. I don't know. I kind of raised my hand. I'm not really sure why, and I don't expect you to know why. But I don't know. And there's maybe some things to share, but I almost don't wanna even touch it. Like I don't know. Like that.
What is here right now?
Father, that's the easy part.
Okay, what else has to be solved or resolved?
Nothing, but I would say, I don't know, I don't want to be like, it was such a nice satsang, and I will be like, but, and I don't think that this but, Father, like, I don't know, like, please correct me if I'm wrong, that but is taking anything away from my freedom. It doesn't feel like that, but something maybe still gets attention, and especially maybe the last couple of days, because something very strong has happened in my life, which I was not expecting, and I was feeling so good before, like so good. I even was saying to someone from Sangha, probably something is coming because this is so unusual. And well, it did. And it shook me to the core, and my mind is like racing, and the emotions are very strong, but I'm just like looking at it and not judging myself for not being able not to go with it, maybe like that. And then now, but just by listening to the satsang, I'm just, okay, the mind is racing, and yeah, all the emotions have felt strong. But then, okay, isn't it just like, I feel like I know the answer, but maybe I would like to hear it from you. But like, isn't it just like another thought that is just somehow prolonged? Because whatever I am, whatever is, it's just there. It doesn't need any, how to say, or to say that I have this and that. Maybe this might sound as a report in some cases, but on another level, can it be just a thought? Like, if you know what I'm asking.
Yes. There's really no prolonged thought. The thought could be repetitive, you see. But what happens is that even if it is not repetitive, when we buy into any construct, you see, all other constructs are interlinked with that anyway. You see? So if you bought into a concept, that's what, if you remember, I call this the tree of conditioning. So you tug at one leaf, it's not like you only get that one leaf. You see, you pull the whole tree of conditions and conditioning. So it can seem like it is more constant than it is. You see? But in reality, it is only being which is constant. Sorry. And if I can use a nonsensical word, like ultimate reality, even being is not the constant. You see? Just awareness, even of the coming and going of being. So there's no real prolonged thought, but once any of its cousins, friends, relatives, all of them are related anyway, you pull them in, then they carry the flavor of that one as well. You see? So it could be like a theme, you see, which has been nurtured with belief a lot. So that theme may be contained in every thought relating to that branch of conditioning. So in that way, it may seem prolonged, but actually it has no life. It just comes and goes.
Yeah, I feel like it is somehow maybe perceived like that, but still the pull to go with it, to go with the story, it is quite
So this
challenging,
is
I would say.
the interesting part which we didn't cover in the initial part, which is, so a thought appears. You see? Now, what gives it pull? What gives it gravitation or magnetism?
Believe that it's me, my story, my problem,
Yes,
my life.
before you believe the thought, you see, while it is unbelieved, while it is still just walking through the head, you see, how is it that some thoughts don't have pull and others seem to have pull? You see, so if the thought came to which said, but Atma Jyoti, you're horrible at climbing trees.
Well, I am.
It doesn't seem to have a resistive response. It doesn't seem to have a resistive response. But if the thought comes and offers, hey, Atma Jyoti, I feel like you're missing the crux of satsang.
I don't know, this is a very good question. Something I would say that it's been heard a lot, like a lot, to the point that you identify with it.
Yeah. So it just feels like that theme which we still give value to, those constructs which we still give value to, they become like the gravitational pull for anything that adds to that theme or that branch. You see, so there's a new offer of a leaf for that. So the Guruji calls that interest. So what is this interest? The interest is on the basis of what has been nurtured, and therefore then becomes attractive because it seems to provide us the nature or the ability to determine the state of things in that particular theme, or solutions to things that we have determined are true. So if, for example, we determine our spiritual condition as not being devoted enough or worthy enough, then the mind makes an offer and say, if you were just to do this, you see, do 56 sit-ups every morning, then that will make you more devotional. If it came with the promise of resolving the nature of something that we have conceptually determined to be true about what is, you see, then that seems to be attractive. But if it has no relevance to that, you see, then usually what happens is that it's not that attractive, except sometimes when we believe these notions like I am bored. You see, when we get into that kind of ecosystem of belief system that I'm bored, then it is like, okay, give me what you got. And it could say, okay, I feel like you should start playing a water polo or something. And just like, yeah, I'm so bored. Maybe I should start playing water polo. So although maybe you never wanted to play water polo before and there's no interest in it, it could still have an attraction because you made another construct about something in your life. You see, that's how new interest is developed. Otherwise, originally we were all empty. No? So if only those thoughts which were interesting were gravitational or had a pull, then nothing would, because to get interest, it must be nurtured with belief already. You see? So, but many times we put ourselves in these constructs where we say, I'm open to new stuff, new belief system, because I've determined my condition to be something, bored, or you see, not enough, or I need like a relationship, or whatever the construct may be. That is when the thoughts, new thoughts which we may not have indulged in the past, become part of our conditioning, therefore creating new branches to our pure conditioning. Have you noticed? Yeah. Otherwise, it's the conundrum. Like if thoughts, belief in thoughts cause interest, then how does the original thought start getting believed? That's why for young people, this notion of I am bored is very popular. Because that bored makes them open to all new kinds of conditioning. So no thought really is prolonged in any way, except through this kind of forces of belief system. Tell me a thought which could be attractive to believe.
Oh, my favorite, for sure. It's something. My life is so bad, and I'm being punished in this life or something. It's just my favorite for sure.
My life is so bad and I'm being punished.
Yeah, but it's very relative, of course. It's not just
like,
I don't know, it's just like that. Compared to whom, you know?
Yes, very relative compared to whom, and also, of course, I have to ask, which is whose life? The worthiness of the notion itself, you see, and say it's so bad. Then you could examine, is it really bad? But I'm just sitting fairly painlessly at this moment. You see, other people could be having the experience of some more pain or some other kind of thing at this point. You see, so one is to look at the relative comparison and examine the belief of so bad, that aspect of it. The other way, of course, is the examination of whose life, who is the one. Either way, it drops.
Yeah, but it feels like it's like a temporary solution because it keeps coming back. And
who experiences time?
The one that's in the mind.
Which is the one in the mind? Where is the one in the mind?
The same mind.
Yeah.
The same mind experiencing the time.
The mind proposes time, but it's just a bunch of thoughts. No? So it proposes time or interprets things as if it is time, having no actual idea of time. Like the mind does not even know if the memory is what we may call the past or future. Like what is the linearity? Which way does it go? It does not even know those things. But it proposes a construct because it is used to the storytelling narrative, which includes past, present, future. But it does not actually experience time because a bundle of thoughts cannot actually experience anything.
Yes. So I feel like it's talking to itself. Just even the one who reacts to the mind, it's not me. It's just a reaction.
But as consciousness, you do have the ability to give it reality because reality has the power to give reality. You see, a seeming reality to notions. And because you are the real, you have the full power to buy into or give truth value without actually being able to make it true. At least give it truth value as a big seeming or a big sense of it feels like it is like this, it is true like this. You see, you have the power to do that as consciousness.
Oh, yes, I do.
So then satsang is basically reminding you not to. Can you be forced to?
Sorry?
Can you be forced to believe or identify?
Forced? Of course not.
Cannot be forced.
It's just something I can't explain. It's just that I believe. That's it. There's no logic in that.
What is a belief? A belief is to take a concept to represent reality accurately. You see? A belief is just a notion accepted as a true lawyer for reality, isn't it?
Yes, but that's what I mean, that some concepts, they don't grab you, or they just come and just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And some are just like, I don't know, it's just like takes over. I wouldn't say takes over, but it's just like very alive. Very.
So for most of humanity, most concepts don't hold value. You see? Because there's so many concepts. It's only a small subset of the conceptual framework.
That's what I mean. That's ridiculous. I believe in one or
that becomes the core of our persona.
Yes.
Now I want you to question this belief that you just believe, you don't know how. Just can you show me, like, allow these thoughts to come and you just believe them? Can you do it and show me? Like, which thought can appear to consciousness and consciousness is just now hostage to it. It just has to believe.
No, just nothing.
There's nothing. Then, without a thought, can you trouble yourself?
Of course not. Yeah, but I want to say that, yes, it's easy now, but it doesn't stay. the classic one, you know, Father, it does not stay like that.
Yes. What if I...
And it's like, almost like not a fight, I would say, but I do this all the time, all the time.
It does not stay like that. But what if I stay with you?
You're always with me.
Then?
You want it or not? Like that.
Yes. Then even when I'm there, these thoughts become so powerful.
No, it's something like, I really wanted to bring it here in Satsang and not to play with it. You know what I mean? Just like, sometimes it's not there, sometimes it's there, but just something that actually works on me, you know? And it's like, okay, let's look at it.
Yes.
Like,
it's very
enough,
good.
enough.
Now, the bringing it to satsang is just meant to defang it, depoison it. See? So when it's brought out to satsang, it is like an offering that we'll then let go of. See? So what happens many times, the mind can sneakily come in, and that's why I started asking the question: are you bringing it to satsang? And after bringing it to satsang, do you value it or do you not value it?
The thought?
Yes.
I try not to value at all at any point.
Yes.
It's just like,
okay,
like annoying.
Expose the one message that you value.
Silence.
Silence?
Silence, but not here in the heart. Like, I don't know how to express it. Like this quietness that when Papaji says, keep quiet.
Yes.
This I value more than anything.
No, but not conceptually.
Not conceptual.
Yes. What is the concept that you value?
None of it.
None of it.
Because it's just a concept.
Yes.
Just a puff of air. I don't know. Smoke.
Yes. Not even that.
Not even that. Yeah.
Good. Then that's a trouble-free life. You cannot suffer without valuing a concept. And valuing a concept only means to treat it like a valid representation of what is. Which it cannot be. We discussed earlier that even one moment like this, you see, even one moment like this, you cannot represent in a concept, because what is this? You cannot represent it truthfully.
So let's say the want that is there for it not to show up and for me to be free of it as well. It's just the smoke itself, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. In fact, for many of you who've been in Satsang long, it is this, to be rid of it itself, maybe more than it.
Yeah.
Or to be rid of it may be the only active part of it.
But let's say on a human level, it's like
Human level
it's
is
normal to not to want these things. No, you don't go there. Okay.
reject the construct of human level, practical level, real world.
Okay. Okay, let's leave.
Like basically saying, what is the difference between human and person?
None.
Exactly. So don't allow your mind to use a word like human to get back in the garb of personhood.
But this thing that I don't want it to be there.
Yes, is also a concept.
I don't see it so much, but yeah.
Is
At the
it-
moment.
Okay, so investigate who is the I that doesn't want. So the mind has a trick also which says, no, not the inquiry. No? And many of you may want to look at the construct of things, you see, from the truth value of it and how it applies to the world, you see, while holding on to not having to inquire into the I-ness of it, which is also fine because it falls apart. But the quicker way, and that's why the mind hates it so much, is to really look at who. Okay, let's do a poll. Put your body's hand up, not the Zoom hand up. If you prefer to ask who versus looking at the reality of the thought while keeping the construct of who and not having to inquire. You prefer to ask who? That's good. That's good. I'm remembering the answer. So when you come up with a problem, I just say who. No, that'll be fine. Yes. Don't determine the nature of anything.
No, it's too much work.
Yeah, exactly. So don't do that work. How is everything? How is everything? You know, the common greeting in the world asks us to make that determination about our life. Hey, how is everything? I can't say everything. I can't even say about this one hand. You see? You see, if you were to be truthful with the answer, like how is everything? Everything. It's too much for my mind to process. And what would tell me if it's good or bad? Like I don't have the conceptual capacity to determine the goodness or badness of things. Then we have to tell, okay, give me a minute, I'm going to my intuition. And the intuition is usually silent. So this may take a while. They're not waiting for the answer to how is everything. You see, but you realize that you cannot struggle or trouble yourself without that determination. You see, and no doership is possible without the trampoline of first a judgment about yourself. What are you going to do right now? What are you going to do? What do you want to say? But about what? You see, are you asking spiritually or what I want to eat? Or you need a context. And what determines the context of your life? It is these thoughts. You see? So first we determine that this is my state, it's 99% there. These 1% things bother me. Then the mind offers solution to that 1%. Says, okay, now if you just do this, then you fall off the cliff of freedom and you're finally done. You see, and those thoughts can seem very attractive. You see, but without that determination of your current state, What thought is attractive? It says, just be open and empty all the time. No? You see? Just be open and empty all the time. The thought may come and say. But what meaning does it have for you? Unless you've determined that you have a struggle or a problem.
So maybe that's what I mean as well, is something like I say that I have a like believe in some concepts, right? Isn't it as well in itself is like creating the problem?
Anything.
Maybe.
Yes.
What if I don't have this problem? I don't believe. I'm just gonna lie.
You don't have any problem. You cannot have a problem.
Because the thought that I have a problem and I need to resolve something, or I'm not able to resolve it,
Yes.
resolve it right now with you, and I'm gonna have to do this in the future through some hard work and intense looking, and just like, wait a minute, it's sending me on such a journey.
Absolutely. Very well spotted. I'm so happy to hear this, because the mind will keep proposing that you have a problem, but the one who could have a problem has never been born. So we spend our entire life not living and enjoying life, but solving problems for the non-existent one, and therefore non-existent problems. You see? And where are the problems? Only in our narrative. You see, where will we solve it? Only in the narrative. You see, what is there in the world to be solved? What should be the next line in your story if you did not have a determination of where you are now?
Nothing, Father, like nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Really nothing. I'm just like, yeah, goosebumps, nothing.
So don't allow the mind to sell you a story saying, yes, it's okay now, but when Father is not there, you see what's going to happen. You see, don't. When is Father not there?
Always there. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Good. Let's go to Jada.
Hello, Father. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Hi.
Hello. Same.
So today I couldn't connect with Satsang so much, and what has been said, I just cried
But
a
do you
lot.
know that for a fact? You know that for a fact. How do you know that?
Well,
What
I
do
feel
you mean? Do you mean that you could not understand anything?
I couldn't. No, it doesn't mean I couldn't understand. It means that I was not interested. It was clear, like the purity of it, and not conceptual. The purity and the actuality, the reality of it, just too clear. But I was not interested at all. Like as you said, something was completely in resistance. This 99%.
Doesn't matter. So that which could be.
Well, it doesn't matter for me. Maybe it doesn't for you.
No, it doesn't matter for you also. So I'll tell you how. Because the one that could be interested or could not be interested, I'm not interested in that one. I'm interested in your reality, not in your false one.
Well, I'm interested with this.
You are interested in that? So stop it.
I mean, I'm kind of suffering.
What are you suffering from? Suffering right now. Right now you're suffering. Right now you're suffering. Or you're believing a story of suffering. What are you suffering with right now? Now, what are you suffering? What are you suffering with right now? Right now, I want you to. I want you to suffer right now and show me. Please, you're smiling too much. Why? Huh?
Oh, you and suffer cannot be together, Father. When you go, it will come, don't worry. But you and
Huh?
it doesn't go together.
Come on. Let's see you suffer a bit. Too much laughter. Too much laughter. Where is the sufferer? I want to meet the sufferer finally. I've been looking for the sufferer for many years. More than 25 years. Let's see if we can find. Who is the sufferer?
Maybe there is no suffer, but it's obvious that there is suffering.
It's obvious where? Except your head where? I want it to be obvious in your...
Well, Father, I live with this head.
Huh?
This is my everyday experience. Not every day, of course, just 2 weeks experience, let's say. So, I mean, it's head, but this is how we experience life, you know. This is how I experience life. It's head or it's in the heart, wherever it is, I don't know. But this is how I experience life.
Nobody has ever experienced suffering. You may experience pain, but suffering is something that you work on conceptually. It is not an experience.
Well, maybe it's not suffering. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's suffering.
I want to see your nose suffering. I am suffering. You see? So now the entirety of you should suffer. Can I see your nose suffering?
No, entirety of me doesn't suffering. Like the place you have shown, it's just so obvious. It's always here. It doesn't suffer, but I cannot connect with it because I am this. This is just nothing, and this is just purity. But I'm here suffering like how I experience life. I don't know, like, yeah.
So there is no suffering except in your head. And what you're saying is that the head is very attractive to you right now. Or are you saying the head is forcing you to be with it?
No, it doesn't have this power.
Yeah.
It cannot, but I really connect with it. When he say you don't have money, and
yeah.
I mean, when you say something like this, improve me in actuality in life with experience. I just too much with it, like I connect with it.
You use the wrong labels, my dear. What you're calling actuality, you see? What you're calling actuality is what?
How I experience life.
Yes. So you want to talk about the content?
No, it's in interpretation. It's not how I experience.
So you want to solve it in the interpretation or in reality?
In reality.
Reality is already solved.
Okay.
You see? In reality, absent of desire, it's already solved. Desire is the invitation to suffering.
Yeah, desire. But
you want to have desire also and not suffer also. Do you want to have desire also and not suffer also? That is impossible.
Yeah, I don't like it. This is
what is desire? What is desire? What is desire? Desire is a resistance to what is appearing.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's a resistance to what is appearing, isn't it? A desire. Because what is appearing is not enough. Something should either come or go from this blob of appearances. Then I'll allow myself to be happy.
Yeah, and
what is getting in the way of your being right now? So that nothing is what you need to be happy. Like Papaji said, you need nothing to be happy. You need that nothing, which you have.
I don't know, Father. Like I after start, I feel like, okay, I forget. Sorry.
You don't feel like, my dear. You think like. You don't feel like. You think like. So to stop thinking like and meet me here.
Father,
Yeah.
you are really always here. Like background, you are always here. But
And don't hold two hands. If I'm always there, then don't hold two hands. Just hold my hand. And don't allow the mind to tell you, don't allow the mind to tell you your experience of life.
it just did.
Easy. Your mind is telling you your experience of life. You are not experiencing life firsthand. It is saying, this is your experience. Oh, my experience. This is what is happening in my life. Nonsense.
Yeah.
Because the meaning is nonsense and its interpretation of life is nonsense. So both sides is nonsense. It's like one side is garbage, the other side is also garbage.
Then I don't feel to defend it, because when you speak, it's too clear, and even in general, it's too clear. But why?
Like even right now, who is interpreting what is happening?
I didn't understand.
Who
Did
is
I interpret or not?
who is interpreting or determining the nature of what is happening right now? Even when you speak to me, then this happens. Who is saying that?
The one that I take myself as always.
So stop it.
It's just
Stop
I
it.
always
Stop
take
it.
it.
Stop.
Okay, can I really do
No,
this?
stop. Now
No, tell me, can I really do this?
it's done. Now don't start again.
No, I don't believe you.
Done. Now,
No.
you see, it is the false which takes effort and practice. The truth is just here. That's why I have to win, you see. I have to win because the truth is just here. You see, I can just do this, finish. The mind has to say, but yesterday when this happened, blah, 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 so much work, and I can just do this, done. Who's got the easier job? Because the moment is on my side. Then you say, but Father, what actually when I said, stop. God. You see, God is here. Then the mind comes, egotism comes with the offer, saying, but this is not enough because it's not always like this. Yes, it's not always like this because you buy this stuff. It's like saying that I enjoy the cold. I enjoy the cold. But I don't know, I keep walking into these saunas, man. It's just like, I don't know. Nobody can force you in the sauna if you enjoy the cold.
Sorry, I can't understand.
You know the sauna thing? What is the sauna? Has this place which has got this steam and really hot. You have these Turkish baths in Turkey. It's just like that, hot. No? Are they hot springs?
Okay, yeah.
If you enjoy the cold, don't dive in.
Okay.
If you enjoy the presence of God in your heart, don't go to the head.
Yes, Father, of course I enjoyed, and
No, you're thinking, my dear. I'll see it in your eyes.
Yeah, because I want to
No,
solve.
don't solve. Here, stay with me. Come. I'm with you. Stay. Don't figure out. Don't understand. Stay with me. It's okay. You don't say it, but you still can't believe it. You know, if you stop looking at the hand actions and all the tools. Yeah. Hold one hand, either your mind or mine. You can do it. You want something from both, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah, I think I want something from that.
Have you not suffered enough?
No, but what it's offering just feels so attractive.
What is it? What is his offer? I am offering you God right now in your heart.
Yeah, but with God, life is not always
Life is not always God. What is it?
easy.
What? What is its offer? What's the mind's offer? Some exciting life. What is it?
Yeah, it offers a dream,
Is what?
and it offers a dream, happiness, and all these things, just
God
scenarios. And
cannot
I
give
believe
happiness.
it.
God cannot give happiness.
Well, it's something beyond.
Beyond God.
No, there is something beyond happiness, the actuality of happiness.
There's something
I mean,
beyond. No, I'm not. Happiness is a byproduct. You see, is a byproduct. I'm talking about your reality as pure being itself. And actually, even beyond that, as the awareness of this, what can the offer be from the mind that can be greater than that? You see, this is the crunch question for all of you. If you still have something which you want from the personality, from for the personal experience, as it may be called, you see, and you want God at the same time, then it seems like a roller coaster. You see, it's like you want to hold on to the stuff that you think you have personally and also create more room for God to come. I don't want my stuff to go, but I also want God. Wouldn't that be nice? You see? So, but that is the mental way of living. You leave your head. You can do it. Just leave it. Don't go back.
Then just let me
Do
say this
miming
one.
satsang. This one miming satsang. Just.
No, okay, I will leave it, but just a
No,
little bit.
this is the problem. Don't believe it. Don't believe it because belief is in your head. You see, so I'm not fighting with your head. Just leave it. Don't
It
believe
has
it.
to be silenced a little bit, maybe.
No, just leave it. You have no problem. Nothing needs to be determined. Nothing needs a solution. Just leave it.
If you promise to take care of it, I will leave it.
No.
No.
Surrender without guarantees, my dear.
And this is what I'm saying. I surrender it to you.
No, but if you say take care of it, maybe you didn't mean it that way, but take care of it means that I already know what taking care would be.
No. Or maybe.
You see? And if you did not have that notion, then what was that need of that disclaimer?
Yeah,
If you can still determine that, oh, I gave it to father, but he made it worse than better. You see, then that is still from the interpretive mind. If it is Guru Kripa Kevalam, means everything is taken care. How do we know what is taken care of or not? That is like surrendering with one eye open. I'm giving it to you, but please do a good job, okay? I'm watching you. You see, so surrender is not a cheat code. You know, cheat code? You just put it in the game, then all the difficulty goes away from the game. See? But I would like some money, father. I'd like the best boyfriend. You know, I want the biggest body. And of course, freedom has to come. Now, all of this is your problem. Is that what surrender is? You see? So for surrender, we must surrender the doership and the experiencership.
No, it's like I don't want to suffer at least.
So what are you surrendering to me?
But I'm surrendering to you.
What?
I'm okay. I'm surrendering all these desires. Just really, I surrendered because it's just something goes ahead of me. Like I don't know why they are there, but just they have really just such a strength.
Yes.
Father, just really understand me and see me on this, and just please.
Very good. Very good. You did well. Now I want you to surrender a little more because, you know, I'm quite a greedy master. So I want you to surrender even more. So you surrendered the desire. Now surrender the desirer also.
What it is?
What you take yourself to be, surrender that one also. The one who can have a desire or be empty of desires, surrender that one also. Have nothing to do with that one.
I don't know that one so much.
This one, surrender this one, this I.
Oh, okay. Yeah, happily.
Good. That's
yes.
it. That's all I want.
I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy.
That
Yeah.
I'm fine now. Whether happy or unhappy is my problem.
No, I just, yeah.
Don't take it back. Don't take that one back. You see? Don't take
Yeah,
that
okay,
back.
my taking back it or not taking back it is your problem.
Yes, but don't take him back.
Father, because I don't know that much so well, I'm not so good to catch it, you know, like desire, I can see it and I can recognize it, but desire, I don't know so well. So
Open, headless, open and empty. Everything is mine.
okay, I have nothing other than trust you.
No, not even trust. Just the witnessing. That's all.
But I cannot connect.
Just the witnessing, not even trust. I don't want your trust. I just want your witnessing. Just remain as the witnessing. That's all. I don't want trust, mistrust, all these opposite things. I don't want. Nothing. No position at all.
Father.
No. Are you reporting awareness?
No, I just wanted to speak from witnessing place to see the difference between
No.
this one.
Witnessing space, no reporting is needed. I know what is there in the witnessing place. Don't hold on to any I. Don't hold on to any I, any progress, any state, anything. Whether you are getting it or not, none of that. See, so basically I want something very small. Just everything that appears in the waking state, let that be my problem. Sleep state can be yours. It's fine. You can have that which troubles you in deep sleep. That's all. You can have only that which troubles you in deep sleep. That's all. The rest is my problem.
Yeah, but may it be so.
Huh?
May it be so.
I didn't get you. What?
I said, may it be so.
May
Because
it
we
be
are
so.
always speaking and I always surrender something, but this conversation is just so important for me and I really want to see the actuality of it and just
No.
the experience of
You're
it.
still there to want. Give it to me. That one that still wants, give it to me. The one that wants to experience the actuality of it, just give that one to me. What is it still doing there? Didn't you give that one up?
Yeah. Okay, then what I'm going to do then?
Whose problem is that? Whose problem is that?
It's not a problem. But I have nothing left to do.
Yes. Very good. That nothing is all that you need. Very good.
Father, thank you so much. Just
Thank you.
taking time with me and really, it's just so touching to see every time. Just you give your time for us and just thank you so much for your care. Thank you. Today I pray for this a lot and thank you so much.
Okay, let's go to Madalena.
Hello, Father.
Hello.
Here we have a different report. We are all sick, but happy.
You look good spirits, so that's good.
The spirit is good. Yeah, we are in your grace and Guruji's grace, and we are grateful for that. And the awake state, the waking state is good, but the sleeping state is a bit bad because this is when the mind kicks in.
Sleeping state is bad. I've never heard of a deep sleep state which is bad. Either you are sleeping or you're not sleeping. If you're not sleeping, then good, bad can be there.
Probably.
You mean the trying to sleep state?
I'm sleeping. It's the night time.
Nighttime in the waking state. The nighttime is not there in sleep state. It's there only in the waking state. Is there nighttime in sleep state?
Once you wake up.
What is Kalanji?
Once you wake up, you realize it was nighttime.
Yes, exactly.
I wake up and start to get concerned about Anna. But during the day, I'm good.
So stop it. That's not a good way to wake up.
Or to sleep because it's nighttime when I wake up and worry. But leaving that aside, Father, I think open and empty is the key thing, and or the prayer or what my heart wants. And if it's day or night, make it no matter for us.
Yes, I have no idea about anything. It's okay.
Yeah. and happy to see you after a long period of time.
Yes. Mangoes are in front of you. They can be perceived. Do you want the mangoes or do you want the stories about mangoes? Or whatever your favorite fruit is.
I just want you at the moment. Not the story, not the mango. Sorry. Nothing from what is perceived is for me. So.
Very good. Very good. Sending all my love, blessings to the healing of your bodies. All three of you are a bit sick at the moment, or what's happening?
Yeah. Yes. In different ways.
Right?
In different ways.
In different ways, I see.
But yeah, I think Anna is most important of us all because you don't know really what's bothering her. So, a blessing for her is most important. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my love. Oh,
Thank you.
sweetheart.
Thank you.
Real soon.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Sangha. Love you all. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Raman.
Hello, Ananta-ji. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you.
Speaking to you after a long time.
Yes, yes.
Actually, the questions which I had are melting away. But there's one thing which I know that it's going to come up after the satsang, is that the seeker which wants to fulfill itself through the seeking and through getting what the seeker has been advised from the very beginning. And I'm not talking about the big words of enlightenment. I'm talking about just the feeling of being fulfilled, and because of which this journey started. So when you bring us to this presence where you say that, and which is very important, because I keep reminding myself that how can you suffer without a thought? And it is a fact that you cannot suffer without a thought. But then in your, now I'm using the cliche words of day-to-day life, but then you go through your life achieving or doing your duties, but there is no passion, there's no juice in it. And the only juice you expect to get is through, and which I do get, is through satsang. So you're still expecting that that unfulfilled self of yours needs to be fulfilled through spiritualism or through satsang. So is that also a concept?
Yes. Is it? What troubles us is only mental categories.
Yes.
The minute you carve up life into fulfillment, unfulfillment, practical day-to-day and satsang, you make these categories, it's asking for trouble. You see? Don't make them. Can you be forced to make them?
So there's a voice which says,
Leave that voice has to be left. Because if you keep going to that voice, I cannot convince your mind. I can convince you. I can share with you your truth. But I cannot convince your mind because the mind is the voice of separation. By talking to me, it is not going to change its spots. It will stay the same. Just like by listening to that voice, I will stay the same. By listening to me, that voice will also stay the same. So the conversation is not between the voice of the mind and the voice of the master. You see? Whose side are you going to take?
So when I'm doing my duties or working,
don't categorize your life as duties, working, spiritual. All these categories will only trouble you. I feel like you've been long enough in satsang to meet this now. You see, otherwise what can happen is you'll have strategies and tactics for different aspects of life where you don't need, those aspects are not reality, it's just like our conceptual understanding of what life is. You see, it's like making a representation using Lego blocks and then trying to fix it for those Lego characters. Life is running itself. In your heart, in your intuitive inside, the Sadguru presence, there is enough intelligence to run what we call work, enough intelligence to run your spiritual life. All of these categories, your heart doesn't need. It is just so your mind clamors for structures and concepts with which you get a security blanket with which you can frame your life and feel like I've got all of it sorted out because this troubles me. You see? Now, if you become empty of those categories, because life does not have them. Life is just a bundle of perceptions. The interpretation of those perceptions into categories is up to you as consciousness. It is not inherent in your projection of life. You see, why I'm saying to you that you must drop these categories is the minute you take a category, then the mind will propose that there is a problem that you have to solve. In each category, oh, this is like this, it's almost there. Like my spiritual life is almost there, but little bit, I have to become more open, something. And my work life is almost there, except this manager, I hope he gets transferred out. Something like that will happen. You see, but suppose you didn't have those categories. If you didn't have any labels, or at best you just labeled everything as a perception.
you feel a little wobbly because no desires, no targets, no goals. You feel.
But the intelligence which is inherent in your divinity of your presence, God's presence is here. The intelligence knows what is the best goal. No? Can our mind know what is the best goal for us? You see, you feel like the being that is operating this life. You see, if you had to pick that one's intelligence, which is beating the heart and making this body function, versus the mind's intelligence, which would be of no use if you lost the core intelligence of life itself. You see, which one do you trust more?
Of course, the former.
There's no life left without that. So trust it more in the sense of trust it to do even what you think it cannot do, that so-called real world, practical world. Let it run that. If the master, at least from what you see of the master, you see that a body walks into satsang and then the mouth starts speaking. And the report is that there is no concept about what is being shared or no need to think and understand. Just words are coming out and they're being heard here as they're being heard there. If this process can happen without conceptual knowledge, then why can't the rest of life be done? Is God saying, I'm done with the rest of the so-called practical life, but I'm good for satsang? Is God saying that? See, what is the problem? The problem is not that wobbliness does come, but the bigger problem is that we are scared to give up on all our desires. See? So suppose you handed it over to God, if you still have an expectation that after my surrender only that should happen, you see, and suppose and everybody gets this, right? Even Guruji had this where he said his mind would trouble him by saying, if you keep going like this, you'll become a hunchback beggar on the streets of Brixton, you'll become Quasimodo or something. What is that? That's a representation of what outcomes are good and bad that we still hold on to. And then our surrender becomes very meek. You see, then our surrender just becomes a tactic because we're holding on to the outcomes. You see, I at least want to have this much money. I at least want, this relationship. I at least want the body to be like this, and definitely I want freedom also. You see, so in all four aspects, the variables of life, we keep an eye on the outcome, and then surrender just becomes another attempt to come to that outcome, and therefore it becomes a very convenient surrender. But who can surrender saying whatever may come?
No, here the surrender is like that, whatever can come. And I feel that I'm drawn towards, after working for so many years, I'm drawn towards getting close to nature, because I've been staying here for quite a number of years and just wanted, is that also something, a desire which I need to witness and overcome, or just leave?
Just leave it. Let your life be God's. It already is. So to then superimpose and project that I want to be closer to nature, I have worked enough, all those are still mental categories. No? God knows what's best. What are we providing guidance to God, or what is it about? Hey God, by the way, अभी 10 साल हो गए दुबई में काम करते something, it can be this kind, like, are these like subtle guidances, are these prompts to God saying, hey, how many years now working? It's like the supreme intelligence doesn't know. And what happens is, actually you become so open, without these concepts about where life should go. God is here, no? Is God waiting for nature to be there with you as your very presence? See, so nature and all that is also category. There is no place where God is amplified or diminished. God is your very divinity, it's your very presence. You will bring the God wherever you may go.
What can I do to be in satsang all the time?
Be open and empty.
Neither this nor that.
No categories, no preferences, nothing. Just allow it to unfold. And by the way, I'm speaking of your inner position, inner attitude. Outwardly, you could still be in a work meeting saying, I want this done by tomorrow. All that can move. It's fine. But inwardly, be open and empty. And don't judge this body as if it is you see, and others as if they are others. And then you can report back to me on satsang or on message or something if you feel like I became open and empty and then my body just became like a vegetable. I didn't move. So it's like we've been carrying an additional burden, which we don't need to carry. Is the burden of our conceptual theorization about what this is, which uses these then categories and tactics and attempts of conceptual understanding, all of that. Just be empty.
Thank you, Ananta-ji. Thank you so much.
Very good. Okay, quickly. Let's go to Shiv. I don't see you or hear you, my dear.
One second. Yeah, now you can see me.
There you are. Aha.
How are you? It's a bit humid, that's why I'm not wearing a t-shirt and
That's okay.
I just wanted to say hi and just like that.
How is everything?
Good, Father. Good. Enjoying. There are some challenges also, but it's fine.
And this is where you are in Uttarakhand.
Uttarakhand, yeah. plan to stay here till July next year. Then I'll be back.
Oh, okay. Good.
I just feel I mean, I was just listening to a recording, and it suddenly struck me as so strange that we talk about the mind so much.
Yes.
Just the word mind, because in usual conversation, it's like that's just something I just.
Yeah.
Corona, it's like gone completely, Father. You're fine now. You look very healthy.
Yeah.
Fine.
I feel good. The body feels quite light and okay. Yes. You've been keeping well. All is good.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Say hi.
I just wanted to say hi.
Hi, Shiv.
Hi. Take care, Father.
It must be
Thank
much,
you.
very convenient not to have to leave Satsang Hall and go have a smoke and.
Yeah. Hey, but you blessed me, Father, and now it's like really come down. Smoking,
Oh, good.
weed, and all that. It's come down a lot.
Very
Take care, Father. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Love you. Bye.
Very good. Okay, let's go to Satyam.
Hello, Ananta-ji.
My dear.
Wow, I'm in the middle of this is another this is a challenging how to say it. I'm doing something practical, but your satsang is also on. It's Oliver is here, has been with Mujiji. Hey, Ananta-ji.
Hello. Yes, of course, my dear. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. So I am in. I was in India, but now I'm in Denmark, Ananta-ji.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and this is it's making me cry because I was there, but I could not come physically to see you.
Okay, it's okay.
But I think the mind trip was because I wanted to go away from Denmark and the money was finishing. So, the power of Maya, whatever you want to call it, it just overtook. And then I had to sort this out and come to Denmark to be able to come to India. Like my trip, right now, I'm not being very spiritual about perceiver. I'm just talking my circumstantial life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full blessings to you, and of course you are aware that of course it'd be fun to have you here in Bangalore, but more importantly to recognize the divinity in your own heart, see, of which Ananta is just an instrument. You see, this body is just an instrument for that. So that is primary. So
yeah.
So
I've been listening to you today. Of course, it's important to be in this vibration, but the mind is going like, I can see it's throwing like tantrum. You will be punished and all sorts of this.
Oh.
You have been there and you did not come to, and this is like all these thoughts are coming, but I'm just watching. Let it speak. What can I do?
How do you speak them out? Just leave all value attached to them.
Yeah.
Usually what happens in the world is when we speak something out, we become more attached to that position. Somebody says, no, you're wrong. Say, of course I'm right, I'll prove to you. So that becomes more truth value when we've spoken something in the world. But in satsang, as you're exposing, especially these things which the mind is telling you, as you expose them, let all the attachment to that drop. You see, that is to surrender it. That is the power of exposing in satsang.
Yeah, it has been like thoughts like you have been to India and you idiot, you did not take the advantage of being physically present and those, because that spiritual side of the person is like it's loaded with a lot of charge and guilt and all that. So I'm putting it out, I'm just putting it out right now.
The one that beats our heart, the one that beats this body's heart, is the one that moves every atom of this universe. So all credit and blame goes to that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing else to really say, Anantaji, but it's just you're in my heart always,
Good enough. It's more than good enough. It's very
Yeah. I'm not prepared what I'm saying now, but I feel you in my heart, and and of course the sattvic side of however you wanna, this effort to see it and to experience that, and this goes on, and I can see that this goes on. I'm not even doing that, but just goes on.
like I was telling Raman before you that all these categories, just leave them. Let life unfold in the light of consciousness as it is doing. The narrative only takes away the true taste of it. It just makes it very primitive. It just makes it very tactical and mental. So don't categorize anything. Don't worry. All good.
And Oliver has been big help. Like we come together, and our presence is in his heart, and I feel like vibrates in the same. So we have this sangha here in Denmark. So he's a part of that sangha, and like come together sometimes.
Full love to you. Full love to both of you.
Full love to you, son. Thank you, Ananta. Thank you so much.
Go to Aniko. Aniko.
Hello, Ananta-ji.
What's up?
I am all right. I won't cry now. Ananta-ji,
You're going to break our tradition.
would you like to get it back?
No, I'm not very traditional anyway.
I'm just joking. Thank you so much, Ananta-ji. So I'm so sorry to talking now after Satyam, but Ananta-ji, one desire is still in my heart to go back to India, and this is a long time desire. So I already arranged the financial situation. I went to England to pick some money from there, and I was working there, and it seems to be now could be all right. I just would like to ask you about your opinion, or if you would accept me for a while to see you sometime in the future.
I'm very happy, very happy. Your home is waiting for you. You're very welcome to come. Very happy. Except I may be traveling in the last week of September and possibly the first week of October. Except those 10-12 days.
Yes.
I feel like I'll be here in Bangalore. So you're very welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ananta-ji. I will have a small operation in August, and I have to recover. It's nothing so serious things. Something about my skin to take it off, so it's not big issue. And then after, I was planning about October or November, something like this. So
very good.
I just wanted to know if you would be,
Anytime after 4th or 5th October, I should be here throughout October, November.
Thank you so much, Ananta-ji.
Very good. I'm very happy to hear this.
I love you.
Love you too. Good. Let's go to Devi. Look at that. Hello.
Hey. Can you hear me?
Yes, my dear. So
Can
happy
you hear
to
me?
see you. Very good. You know, this is...
so...
You know that her partner had recorded this video in the Indian accent saying my wife or partner has a guru and he just keeps smiling.
You still remember that?
Yes. Very good. So happy. So happy.
I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to get here. I moved in with this guy and life changed quite a bit. And internet problems and all that good stuff. And
He had
so,
a very good
and
imitation.
now, you know,
He had a very good imitation of me anyway. So I was there with
yes.
you.
Well, he's actually gotten a lot calmer too, so that's good.
That's good.
So the internet's working again, but now to be here with you live, I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, yes.
So
in America,
yeah.
that is
But yes. So I'm with you. It doesn't feel like that's, you know, it was 2016, I think, when I was there, and it doesn't feel at all like that much time has passed.
Yeah.
It's just a blink. It's just really a blink. And unfortunately, this satsang today is perfect for my situation because my daughter, I don't think you've been on Heart Altar yet, but my daughter is missing. She's been missing for 3 weeks.
I see.
I just found out a couple days ago. And so
I haven't logged into Facebook for many days now.
yeah.
How
Well,
old-
this
how old are they?
beautiful sangha that we have, this family is I put it on there and they've just, you know, put their arms around me as usual. So I love you all and thank you all. But the interesting thing is that, Father, I am watching this all happen.
Yes.
The emotions come, activity happens, I'm out, I've got her on the news, I've done all these things to try to find her. And but at the same time, there's just this watching of it too at the same time. So it's almost like it's a double life, but I'm aware that the activity life is not really who, you know.
Yes.
I don't know how to put it into words, but I only cry because you're here in front of me, and I always cry when I talk to you. So I need, and I put her at your feet already, and I've left her there, and I knew this day was coming. But now that it's here, I just need, I guess, prayers for her and an understanding of how to deal with that now, so that the identification doesn't come back in, but yet I still handle the situation's going to be dealt with the way it's supposed to be dealt with, I'm sure. Life just happens, but the emotions are really in and out and strong, and at the same time I'm just watching it. So I don't, you know, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. I'm sending so much love, blessings. May Guruji's grace take care of this situation. All my love is with you, all my blessings are with this child as well. I feel like also saying that if some of you go to Heart Altar and there's a message like this, just let me know. I'll log in the future because I'm with you so fully.
Thank you, Father.
Full blessings, full blessings.
Thank you. Thank you, Sangha. Thank you.
All of us are sending all our love and blessings to all of you.
Thank you. I'll let you know when I get an update.
Yes, somebody from the Sangha here can give you my number as well, and if you have something like WhatsApp, or we can call on FaceTime or something, if you ever want to speak, I'm there.
Thank you, Father. I appreciate that. Okay. I love you.
Love you, love you.
Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. Samprapte sannihite sale, Samprapte sannihite sale, Nahi nahi rakshati dukhe karane, Nahi nahi rakshati dukhe karane, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Mudhajahi Dhanagama Krishna, Mudhajahi Dhanagama Krishna, Purusharvotrim Manasi Vikrishna, Purusharvotrim Manasi Vikrishna, Yalabhase Nija Karmopatam, Yalabhase Nija Karmopatam, Vittam Tena Vinodayatitam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Yavasito Bhajana Shakta Sanija Parivaro Rata, Yavasito Bhajana Shakta Sanija Parivaro Rata, Pachadivati Jagana Dege, Pachadivati Jagana Dege, Vata Kopina Prishati Gege, Vata Kopina Prishati Gege, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita, Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita, Ganga Jalalam Kanika Pita, Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita, Ganga Jalalam Kanika Pita, Sakrita Viyena Murari, Sakrita Viyena Murari Samacha, Sakrita Viyena Murari Samacha, Sakrita Viyena Murari Samacha, Viyate Sasyayamena Nachacha, Viyate Sasyayamena Nachacha, Bhaja Govindam, 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 Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम् इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे भज गोविन्दम् भज गोविन्दम् गोविन्दम् भज मूढमते अथमनर्थम् भावय नित्यम् नास्ति तत् सुखक्लेश सत्यम् अर्थमनर्थम् भावय नित्यम् नास्ति तत् सुखक्लेश सत्यम् पुत्रादपि धनभाजां भीतिः पुत्रादपि धनभाजां भीतिः सर्वत्रैषा विहितारीतिः सर्वत्रैषा विहितारीतिः भज गोविन्दम् भज गोविन्दम् गोविन्दम् भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दम् भज गोविन्दम् गोविन्दम् भज मूढमते
Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Guru Kripa Ke